Hey there, I'm Tracy Rigdon, and this is the Contrast Project Lounge podcast. Often random, but always relevant, always real, and practically nothing is off limits. This podcast is for you. Are you ready for this? Let's do it. I'm here joined with my co-host, Mr. Jim Allaby. So, Jim, how you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Cheers, everybody. Hold up your glass of water and give me a big cheers for me and Tracy and Chris Thomas over here.
That's right. That's right.
He's got I need it.
Oh, he's got the logo. There we go.
There we go. He's got the Hey, look what I got your logo in the back here.
Oh, bro, check that out, man. Right on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Right on.
For those of you that are watching us right now, we have joined one of North Florida's iconic members of the music business in the area, Mr. Chris Thomas. Chris, it is an honor to have you on the program, and thank you so much for taking. And Chris is coming directly from a gig, so this guy's on high octane tonight.
Yeah. Yes. High octane, not cocaine, but octane. For clarity.
Okay, I'm glad you clarified that.
I had to. People always accuse me. I'm like, no, it's natural energy.
Yeah. Okay, so good. Can I start off with a question since he said that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tracy, do you mind?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to show you this right here. Okay, so can you see these three pictures, Tracy?
I can.
On your phone there. Okay, so you can see it, Tracy and Chris.
I can.
Yeah.
Okay, there's like the top left-hand one is this like high energy rock and roller, sweating with the sunglasses on.
Right.
Chris Thomas. To the right of that is this dancing Chris Thomas.
Yep.
And then underneath that is Chris Sinatra Thomas.
That's me. You nailed
with
it.
The clear glasses.
You nailed it.
So which one is like the 86 octane and the 90 octane and the 92 octane?
Well, Frank definitely has the least amount, so he's the 86. And then I would put, it can go either or on the other two. It flips back and forth constantly to the 90, 92. Back and forth, the top two. So the Sinatra, you got to chill. You got to chill with Frank. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of?
I just saw these and I was like, there's like these guys wear so many different hats. So that leads me to one more question. What's with the hat?
You know, man, right? It's a necessary evil as I am trying to grow my hair back. So it's like, you know, I'm patchy all over. So I'm getting into these brims. And the great story about this was earlier this year, I got an opportunity to perform and be the entertainment on Virgin Cruise Lines. And side note, I don't get anything for saying it, and you guys have been on it, you know, but Virgin is just another level of cruising. Adults only. And we sailed around South Africa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we were swimming on board. And these hats were only $20. Now, this particular brand is about $200. And nobody was buying them, so they dropped it. So my whole band, we got the same identical hat, and I fell in love with them. So now I'm starting to collect them while the hair grows in. It's all good. So that's the story. There you go.
Wow, that's a nice brim. That's a nice brim.
Thank you,
tell us a little something, Chris. Let me ask you something real quick before we, just start really rolling. The Chris Thomas band, and how it came to become the Chris Thomas Project. What was the evolution there?
Well, it really just came down to my former partner in the Chris Thomas band. It was I take responsibility. I signed off on a document that I should have never signed off on. And what that allowed my partner to do was just to have full rights to that name. And again, I take responsibility for that. I should have said, no, I don't want to do that. I'm on hiatus, but I intend to come back. And that was it. So it was poor judgment on my part. And so when I did come back, I naively thought, I'm going to go back into it. I didn't think that really that my partner would say, I'm going to hold you to it, and so on. And my partner did. And I was just like, wow, dumbfounded, in the process of that. And I'm sure you guys have been in situations like that in different aspects of your life. And, lesson learned. The thing that hit me kind of icky, and it still does, if you type in the Chris Thomas band, well, you can Google it. But when you click it, it'll take you right now to my partner's current band. It's a totally different name, the whole deal. So, I'm not really fond of that. But it is what it is. So when I thought of project, the word project, and Jim led into the opening of this without knowing perfectly. And I picked project because I find it more ambiguous, and it allows me to be able to throw a ton of different things that I do in there because, I do teach dance, there's theater, I consult, I MC, I sing, I do a lot of different things. So project allows very fast.
Mm-hmm.
So that was why we went with the name, man. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, exactly, brother. Yeah.
I actually started using the Contrast Project about 10 years ago when I was doing remote seminars on for social media and websites in Costa Rica when I was living there.
Wow.
So the logo's been with me forever, and I just modified it and modified what I was doing with it, and here we are.
There you go. So I like the word. It's better than system. Yeah.
So I just got to ask you because you seem pretty okay with it, but did it cause you any grief for a while?
Yeah, I mean, if I may be blunt, I don't know. Can we cuss on here? It won't be too violent.
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Okay. Oh, there we go. So it still does. It pisses me off. There's no reason for it, in my opinion. The biggest thing I will share with you guys, and you guys will totally get this, man. I had worked my butt off and building just a fan base. And so Facebook was and still is a major contributor to, I think, to any business if they use it wisely. So I had developed right under 9,000 followers on my page. And we were back and forth with just converting that page into my new, what was going to have to be my name. And my partner deleted that page. And that was just kicking nuts. I was just like,
wow.
So I'm not fond of my partner because of the classless way they chose to end the relationship. But again, this too. I can't control anything else. So take the high road. Look and just move on. But I'd be a liar if I told you against this. So there you go.
Well, it seems like you're a bit more at peace with it, because you just can't.
Yeah.
It just all it could do is hold you back anyway. So
right.
And I held my tongue for the longest time, man. I just held my tongue. My fan base coming at me, different people asking, and I just chose not to say anything and just take the high road. But we're more than 2 years going on 3 with this, and so even tonight I thought, am I gonna say anything? And I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna share.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
But you're still Chris Thomas. Can't take that away from you.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Still a hard-working guy.
The big band project. So the big band project is really just encompasses all the stuff that you do, your styles, your different forms of art, singing, music, dancing, and all that, right?
Yep, exactly, man. So
what's the name of your new dance studio?
So it's my name. So, and I went back and forth on that for a long time, So I started in Jacksonville in the industry in 1985. And by 96, I opened up my first studio, 8 social affair dance studios. And there's still one of the locations left. We had built it from 800 square feet to 4 studios. And then life happens. The financial crisis in '08 killed a lot of us. So I had to shut down 3 of them. Personal issues. So I sold the last one to the guy currently. And I walked away. Did see Love Praise for a year. Came back, started Monarch. And then owned Monarch 2012. Yeah, 2012. And I just sold it in November 2023. And then now I've opened up Chris Thomas Ballroom and Latin Dance Studio. And, you know, a lot of people, I mean, I had to be encouraged. I was not going to do that. People are like, bro, you have such name recognition. Just use your name. Just use it.
Why not?
And I was just like, okay. And so it's worked out really well, man. So I'm very happy. And yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do have plenty of name recognition, even though you say, you know, you lost, you know, somewhere around 9,000 people from that one Facebook page, and I know that that was a kick in the nuts. I know that had to be a kick in the nuts. And even though you do have you know, some faithful followers from that 9,000, sometimes it's like pulling teeth to get people to go back over and sign up for a new page. I know how that is.
You do, bro.
But you still draw on the crowd.
You know, it's interesting. That's why I'm so thankful you guys let me come on, because you know, this has such great digital thumbprint of its own with the Contrast Project, and it's platforms like this that allow me to get the word out. I cannot tell you the number of people who still think that I'm just done, that I don't sing anymore, I don't entertain. I'm like, man, guys, you know, it's been a year now that I've been back. And in that year, the majority of people still are just like, wow, I thought you had to quit, da 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 da. And I'm like, no, I'm back. So it's tough, man. You know, so but again, stay optimistic, stay positive, and yeah, the numbers are starting to increase. Like even this little gig I did tonight, there's a definite difference in the amount of people. So it's cool. Yeah.
So what is that subtitle down there?
Where am I looking
Believe
at?
you can, and you're halfway there. That's what it says. It says the Chris Thomas Project. Believe you can, and you're halfway there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Words to live by.
Nice. Yep.
Well, that's great. I was looking at an old video. I was just kind of looking at some of my old videos and photographs yesterday and today, and I found one over from Unity Plaza. Do you remember that gig?
Oh, bro, that was insane. That was such a great venue, man.
I know, right?
It was. It was hard to do because it was like a you know, a concert venue underneath somebody's apartment. You know, so it's kind of like, and how do you ticket those events when you have 3 restaurants here and there's only one way to get to it? But outside of that, I mean, we had so much fun there.
Oh, they were a blast, man. We had a great time. We loved everybody in the band. Always looked forward to playing that gig. It was never. We were just so excited. So yeah, so it was great, and I just saw. Oh my gosh, the couple who owned Hobnob. Yeah. I just saw that.
Alan.
Yeah. Zach Cottrell, right? The Cottrells.
Oh, Alan Cottrell.
Yep. And they look great. And so we reminisced a little bit, you know, it was a great venue. So yeah, good memories. Oh, look at those guys. See, you still have all your hair.
No, I don't.
Bro, it
not
sure
really.
look like it.
Because
yeah. Well, okay. A little bit, yeah. If I take this thing off, it's shocking.
So that's what this is, a black magic marker. It's just...
Well, I look like Yul. If I take this whole thing off, it's like, oh my God, it's Yul Brenner. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I start doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Yule
Yeah.
Thomas. is-
Old days. Yeah.
no,
Shall we done?
it's slowly disappearing, but I still spend probably $110 a month putting these gray highlights in.
I love
it. Yeah, because it just won't turn. Well,
Keep it hip, baby.
Yeah,
it
right.
yeah.
So you just now we were saying at the top of the hour here that you've come straight from doing a gig this evening. Tell us a little bit about the gig you did this evening, the size of the band, the size of the venue. What's up?
Yeah, so the local has two locations. There's the one that's out at Neptune, but they have one here in the Miramar area. I just tell people it's right where it splits to Hendrix. It becomes San Jose becomes Hendrix. It's the divide.
Right.
Great little venue, man. Really nice. The food with the local, I mean, they're just exceptional. But so it was there. It was just a trio gig. But what I've been doing since being back, my musical director, Eric Charlton, he does the looper. So he's able to create drums and bass and all that. And then we added a saxophonist as well. And so it's just a trio gig, but a lot of fun, well received. So that's happening. And then the rest of this week, Friday night, we're playing a brand new venue called 1937 Spirits and Eatery. It's in San Marco as well. And God, I can't remember the breakfast place it used to be called. It's a big old green and white building. It's right in San Marco. They had two locations. They had one on Beach Boulevard too. I want to say Crackers, but I don't think it's Crackers. I don't remember.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so they turned it into this, and we're playing there. And then Saturday night, we'll play the other location of the local in Neptune Beach. So that's this week. So, yeah, man, them along with Grape and Grain have been huge in supporting me on my on the comeback. Yeah, man. So there you go.
I love Grape and Grain's a great little venue. Love that place.
Dude, Howard Miles, bro, I'm telling you what, this guy knows what he's doing. He is so brilliant. Such a smart guy. So yeah. They'll be around forever. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I can't hear you, Jim. What happened?
I know. I accidentally had my mic on. I was just saying, have you played Casa at the beach again yet?
No. I mean, at Casa, that was exclusively my my big band, my 18-piece.
Yeah.
But interesting that you asked because I'm working on something right now with some cats up in Georgia, and I got to be kind of tight-lipped, but it's going to allow me to create a new big band that'll perform in Jacksonville once again. So I'll be bringing that whole big band show back. But until we get some T's crossed and some I's dotted and the legalese done, I got to be on the down low as far as who they are, what it's about. But I will tell you this much. These cats have been doing this for a really, really long time. I am completely humbled that they would even consider me to be, the guy to lead it. Because they're so good at what they do. I mean, we're talking these cats that they're on PBS special. I mean, they're legitimate. So look for that. Hopefully we'll be able to get this thing rolled out for the holidays, and do some big band Christmas shows.
Nice.
And kick it off that way for 2025. So yeah, man, it's good. Good stuff coming. Good stuff.
You guys are making me feel like odd man out. Because Tracy always wears these cool glasses. You got your shades on, so heck with it.
Dude, bro, do it, man. Bro,
there you go.
You know what's freaking me out right now? Right now, Jim looks so much like John Derek. You guys know who John Derek is?
I don't.
No, John Derek, is known as Bo Derek's husband.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So he was a cat that, so I didn't know this, but he pushed for her to be a star. And
I remember that story.
Yeah. And John Derek was a major movie star in the 50s. He was huge. He was in almost all the films.
So you're telling me I look old?
No, you look good. Dude, John Derek in his 80s was a very good looking dude. Full head of hair.
Oh, it's getting worse.
Hold it up, man. Look at it. You'll be like, damn, that boy. You know, he had the whole tan, LA tan thing going. No wonder Derek was like, yeah, I'll
Well, it was because she wasn't really motivated that I broke up with her. And then she ended up with him. So,
yeah, I get it. Sometimes women make these mistakes. I get it.
Absolutely.
Sometimes.
all right.
I know. So beyond the dance studio and putting together your big band and just staying really busy building back up your online fan base presence. You had mentioned to us earlier that you're actually thinking about starting your own podcast this year yourself.
Yeah, man. I go back and forth, and guys like you, some other my friends who started a podcast, really inspires me. I love the platform. I listen to them all the time. I really don't watch TV much anymore. I'll listen to podcasts, and I think that's probably a lot of us. But I'm just trying to decide what do I want. What do I want it to be about? What do I want to? What do I want to focus on? As for you guys, like you guys, I have a lot of things I'm passionate about, but I would like to do something that's based. Am I a place where I can bring other artists on and just focus on that, just music and entertainment, and just constantly interview? I mean, you guys know that there's so much fucking talent in this town.
Absolutely.
It's just insane. It's insane. And not only that, the talent that was here and that's left that you can tap into,
Right.
A couple of cats I just met recently that are out. I mean, one of the guys playing bass guitar for Bruno Mars. His band.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And it's just, and it goes on and on. A bunch of Broadway kids, between Douglas Anderson, University of North Florida, Jacksonville University, it produces so much talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, UNF too, especially on the jazz side of things. Yeah, and we like having musical guests on, obviously, because you're here.
Right.
We're gonna have Taylor Roberts on in a couple of weeks.
Tell him
He came over one day. He came over one day and we did a long interview, and I have like 6 or 7 guitars sitting in here in my little recording studio and a keyboard and all that. And I happen to have a Taylor. So I gave Taylor my Taylor and just got a free little 30-second concert. But he's going to come over. We see his computer's kind of down, so he's going to come over here and do the podcast.
Love it
with us. And we got Mike Burnos coming next month as well.
I love Mike, man.
So,
Mike, one of the I consider Mike a foundational cat, man. He was so instrumental in the scene so long ago. Really, he really nurtured a lot of people, man.
That's the word. That is the word that I was looking for from Mike. Because he and I were walking today. I was walking my dogs. A lot of times he walks with me because he's right around the corner from me. And that's what he is. He nurtures me. Matter of fact, I wrote this song called Mahogany that Cyrus Quintero worked with. And we had Dave Edgar on and quite a few other folks. But I didn't perform it. I just wrote it one night at 2 o'clock in the morning. It was like, and it was done. Right. You know how that is. It's like all the good stuff comes out spontaneous. If you work too hard, right? So Mike they came out. He'd come over and play his songs, and vice versa, and we just go back and forth, and we just did a couple days. And he called me back a couple weeks later and says, I really like that Mahogany bit. So, and then he decided to produce it. So he did it, and he had Dario Pastalova on there playing the violin, and Dave Egger doing the cello, and Cyrus on the keyboards and vocals and stuff like that. And it would never be there without him, because I didn't want to perform on it, and because it's like one of those songs you write that's just not your type of music,
Right? No,
I don't know how that happened. right?
Yeah.
So, but that's the word. We got to hang on to that word, nurture. And that's the thing that, like, if you do your podcast, and even in our podcast, sometimes we at least we can nurture interest and inspire.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you
and
guys
that's
are
what it's
doing it,
really.
man. You guys are definitely doing that. I know I speak for many.
Thanks.
So no, you guys are
Well,
making it
thank
happen,
you.
man. It's so important. I mean, I don't think there's any coincidence since this thing started to just get more and more momentum that I'm seeing all these other people I know, pop off locally podcast.
Well, Tracy's the man to talk to because when you're ready to do it, because I've only joined Tracy since December of last year. We started doing the Wednesday Night Live. I don't do any of the other one-on-ones that are not live. That's all Tracy. But he's had 5 seasons and over how many? 101? How many episodes have you done, Tracy?
168 full episodes and 230 something video total.
Wow, bro.
Wow.
Do you guys know the statistic? Do you guys know what is the number of episodes that most people quit as far as their podcast?
We talked about that last week, didn't we?
Yeah, 90% of people that start a podcast stop it after 3 episodes.
That's when we were talking. We were talking about that with Tracy. That was Kristen Keene. You know Kristen Keene, Chris?
Yeah, totally do. Yep.
As a matter of fact, that's who I was with when we went to go to Unity Plaza. We went there.
Yeah.
Because she swims with us, but because she has her own podcast on the Rethreaded website, and she loves it, and they're very well received, and they talk about inspiration and. And I like what you said in your talking points about, what did you say? Journeys that people have been on and are currently on and redefining their lives, right?
Right. Yep.
Yep. So
that's near and dear to my heart. That's exactly what, it's been crazy. When I lost my voice due to the nodules, at the same time, my wife for over 20 years asked me for a divorce. And that, shook my soul because I was so tunnel vision and just getting us out of the hole that we were still affected by economically. Man, we're talking since 2008. When that financial crisis hit in 2008, it's devastated. I had 3 close friends of mine who were in the same industry commit suicide. It was horrible. And, there's all those kinds of stories out there like that.
It just seems when it rains, it pours. It all happens at one time.
Oh, gosh, dude, it's crazy.
And we're not immune to it. It happens to all of us. I
want to be able to provide the podcast and the platform to allow people to come on and there be a consistent, oh gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Something that people can go to consistently for the inspiration when they're hit with these types of things in life. And not just to get inspired or motivated, but then to use it, man, to say, okay, look, here's the blueprint. This is how this particular person got out of it. Let me take from this pivot and redefine yourself and not give up.
Let me ask you that, Chris, because you had 3 big hits.
Yeah.
Breaking up with Bo Derek. I'm sorry, your divorce. Right? And your voice.
Right.
And the whole band situation, the Chris Thomas band and all that, all around and within a few years of each other, right?
Right.
So what were the steps that you took, that others might learn from to redefine your life?
The one thing I had to do was just stop. And I put myself in a state of just taking complete responsibility. It's so easy to fall into being a victim because that's easy to do. As you guys know, it's much more difficult to be a victor, but that's what you got to do. You can't, and you got to catch yourself in the second that you're doing it. Tell yourself, stop that shit. It's not going to work. That's all you can do is just be positive and take control. But man, listen, it got really, really dark. I'd be a liar. I mean, I have horrible thoughts, but I've got 4 beautiful, amazing daughters with my my ex-wife, and that was not going to be an option. And so I said, okay, you got to look at this for what it is. Don't make it worse than it is, but make it better. So how are we going to do that? And then, dude, the other thing is you got to cut out all the distractions. You got to focus on your intention and cut out the distractions. And so I had to get quiet. I had to tell a lot of people to piss off. I had to, take stock, take inventory of getting the right kind of people in my life, and letting some people go. Not because they were bad people, it just wasn't the people I needed at the time.
Sure.
And God blessed me. He literally came in and said, "Here you go." And and also too, my new wife was a massive blessing. I had known her for a few years. It was the last thing on my mind, and then our friendship grew into love, and we got married last year. So it's been beautiful.
Well,
So
how did you guys meet? Because you said she was an amazing person. So
yeah.
tell us.
Yeah. So I met her years and years ago at a gig that I was doing. And it was one of those, I think it was like the Christmas lighting ceremony at Town Center. And she was in VIP and she walked up. And at that time, I'm married and I'm married. Before my wife had just divorced, I was married once before. We got married and she passed away within the first year of marriage. And so then years later, I met Krista and so on. So I've always been a monogamous kind of guy. That's always been my trip. Not that I date a lot of girls, not that I did say in my early 20s, probably did like you guys did, and sowed my oats and got a little freaky. But when it came to marriage, I took it seriously. But I met her at one of the gigs like that, and when she walked up, there was an immediate attraction and immediate chemistry. But I was like, man, I got to get out of here. So I lied. I said, oh shit, I got to get back. I know I can't be on break that long. And I ran back to the States because it's like, I am not getting caught up in that shit. So here we are, like 4 or 5 years later. I've been divorced for a little bit. I mean, it's well over a year, maybe almost 2. And she was, you guys, remember Sterling, of course, wonderful Sterling at Castle Arena and his big Christmas party. And he had always invited me every year. And I'd never gone. And I was always gigging. But this time I said, even though I'm gigging, I'm going to leave this gig and I'm going to go to this party. So I went to this party and lo and behold, she was there. And that's it. And then we just started from there. So that's it. So interesting. And within a year later after that, it was so interesting because Sterling got really sick and passed away. And I was just like, man, just it makes you stop and think. That was some really spiritual shit that was going down. But anyway, there's the story.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
And you guys been married a year now?
No, we've been together for, gotta get this shit right, 5 years. We've only been married a year in November this year. So.
Wow.
Yeah,
well, I'm glad that you found some happiness there. That's great.
Yeah,
absolutely,
great, man.
Absolutely.
For you.
Yeah. I'm loving
For you.
She's such a great girl.
Yeah. I mean, like they say, and Jim was mentioning just a little bit ago, you took that triple hit there within a couple of years, and then to bounce back, in this way that you have, it's good. It's good to see one of our brothers happy again.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
It means a lot. Thank you. But man, we got to just encourage guys to do more like what you guys are doing, what I do. Man, and be vulnerable and get your feelings out there. We're still caught up in the shit that when you show that vulnerability, that you're weak, you're insignificant, and I think just the opposite, man. I think when you share that shit, it shows just how powerful and strong you are. So I just want to see more guys do that, man. So yeah.
Well, that's what Brene Brown talked about in her talks. Ever listen to her?
No,
She talks about I'll send you a text or something with a link to one of her talks. But that's what she talks about. That's her thing. It's all about vulnerability. Is the strength it takes to allow yourself to be vulnerable. Because if you don't, you're not going to take any risks. You're not going to avail yourself of opportunities and see the dots come together and make the magic that needs to happen. Right.
Right on, man. Absolutely.
You know,
watch the bit where Howard Stern's interviewing Ed Sheeran. Watch that when he gets into asking Ed about how he got started, and Ed Sheeran just has a great take on it. And
okay,
again,
I'll take a little listen.
Yeah, but I will tell you, a book. When because in owning a dance studio, you have employees and so on. So one of the books that I would make mandatory for my staff to read is John C. Maxwell's book, Failing Forward. And Failing Forward, to me, should be an absolute must-read for every seventh grader in the United States, because it literally teaches you what failure really is, and it's like a workbook. It's brilliant. So that was a lifesaver. So yeah, man.
It's all good.
Yeah,
listen, I tell you what, Chris. Let me ask you something else too. I mean, we've pretty much covered a lot of good stuff here, and your metamorphosis and changing your life and getting everything back together again. And what does the future hold for Chris Thomas right now? What do you see in the immediate future for you?
Excellent question. And I had a meeting with a really, let's just say, connected, influential cat today at True Food Kitchen. Everybody go to True Food Kitchen and get your grub on, the way. I love that place. So we had a meeting today, and so the future is I'm going to get it right back where it was before COVID. Right before COVID, I had my agent that I was signed with in the United Kingdom. We had just come back from touring that and supporting the CD we dropped. And I had signed with 2 other agencies in South Florida. So the goal is just to get right back on top. And, and honestly, man, as much soul music and R&B, blue-eyed soul that I do, I think you cats know, man, I'm a huge Sinatra fan. And I love the American Songbook. So I really want to just get right back to that again. And just putting that kind of music back out there. And Michael Bublé has been so instrumental, but now he's stepping back, and he's not going to tour anymore, and not going to record.
What happened to that?
Yeah, I think what happened, man. He's got 4 kids. He has a very successful whiskey, kind of like what Conor McGregor did with Proper 12. Now, Bublé has that. He owns a professional hockey team. He's got a lot going on. So I think he's just going to step back for a few years. But, look, he's a singer and a performer. He'll come back. But right now, that kind of makes me a little scared, because I don't want to see my genre that I love so much lose that kind of cat. So I'm going to get back out there and get after it, man, and just get back where I was and push it forward. And
Harry Connick's still at it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I saw him down in St. Augustine. He was great.
He is so amazing.
He was amazing.
Yeah. Another nurturer. He's produced so many great musicians out of this big band. So that's the goal. And to tour and let the music take me wherever it's going to take me. It's always been, for me, not to sound over religious or spiritual, but it's always been a God thing for me. I've always let God kind of steward that part. The dancing part, that's a me thing. I dictate that. But the music's always been him. So he'll take me where I'm supposed to go. Yeah.
Right. Can we see, will we be seeing the Chris Thomas Big Band at next year's Jazz Festival?
Let's hope so. I'm going to fill out the forms and submit.
Right.
You know how that works.
Yep.
and we did it at one time. I'm hoping that happens. I'm hoping that we can do another big band show with the Jacksonville Symphony again. You know,
That'd be
that was a
great.
huge success.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it with them, oh gosh, whatever that was, 2020 or 2021. And we did it 2 nights, and we sold out both nights, Jacoby Hall. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'd love to get with Tony and see if we could do something there again. A Jazz Fest would be awesome, brother. Absolutely, man. Yep.
Well,
Digging it.
you know, when I tell you, you know, when you play at the Times Union Center again and or the Jazz Festival, Jim and I are going to want some VIP passes backstage.
You got it. You got it. I think you guys
you know,
should consider, maybe you guys are maybe you're the opening act, you know?
There we go. Yeah, maybe just be like the comedy host or something.
Or, you know, listen, when we played the Times Union Center, when we did our own show there, right? We sold that thing out as well. 600 seats, sold it out. And I had a good buddy of mine get up and MC. So why don't we do this? I'm going to put that on as a vision and a goal, and you guys come in and co-host the show. So you'll
That would
open
be
it
fun.
up. Dude, that
There
would
you
be
go.
a fucking blast. That would be great.
That'd be fun. Remember Dancing with the Stars? I got to host that once.
Yeah. So, dude, you know how it works.
That was fun. That was fun.
It's and you know the way we do it, it's a whole show. So there'll be an intermission, and so yeah, man, let's plan on it. That would be great. That would be great. My buddy Ray Adams got to do it before, so it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened to Trace?
I don't know.
He disappeared.
No.
He disappeared.
No.
He must be having signal issues
Could be.
because he's out in the wild.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's out like in Lottie, near Lottie.
Get out of
Over
town.
there.
Wow. I had no idea.
And he's working off a cell signal.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, there he is.
There he is.
He's working off a cell signal. So sometimes, you know, if like there's storms around and stuff, it gets kind of funky.
Got it.
You know?
Yeah.
So
No, but I didn't know that he lives in Costa Rica. I went there just a couple years ago for the first time. Loved it.
yeah.
Yeah. That was
Are you
great.
going back?
I mean, I'd love to go back. Have you? I'm sure you've been, right?
No, I haven't been. I've been
Oh,
doing some
wow.
other stuff. I'm going to Cornwall in October, and I
Okay.
just got back from the Czech Republic.
Oh, wow. How was it?
That was an amazing trip. Back in the day, when Coldplay came out with their Ghost Stories album, it had the artwork with the angel wings on the cover, and with all these little vignettes.
100%. Yep.
So Mila Verstova is the artist that did that, and I interviewed her for Arbus magazine, and she gave me some pictures to use in some of my stories and stuff. But we've been friends ever since, like since 2015. And she was born in the Czech Republic. She lives in Cornwall, England now, but she was born in the Czech Republic in a little town called Rada Krovila, which is like an hour and a half east of Prague.
Okay.
So she was telling me about it, and I was like, am I going to go fly to Czech Republic and train over to Rada Krovila for an art exhibition? I said, hell yeah. So I just went solo to a Slavic country, which I've never been before. And the exchange rate is wonderful. And but the people were just so fine. And we had such a good time. And she was grand. And there was all kinds of events going on. There's like a parade down the street with her artwork flying on silk flags.
Wow.
And stuff like that. So it was really kind of nice to travel just, you know, for a musical and art kind of experience, you know.
Heck yeah.
So I wanted to do more of that. Yeah.
So I want to ask you so I've always heard that Prague is considered the most beautiful city in the world.
Yeah. Well, you know, honestly, I mean, they call it the city of 1,000 spires or something, but I didn't really spend any time in Prague.
Oh,
I just flew to Atlanta, then Amsterdam and Prague, and then I got on the train and went to Rada Krovila. So I didn't really spend a lot of time. What I did see of it was really beautiful. The river, and all that, and the bridges and the spires were great. But I kind of like the rural areas, like, when you go to England and stuff, we just go to the rural areas and stuff like that. But I'm going to go because I still got a stash of crowns over here to spend. So, what's your next trip?
Right now, we do two local trips a year. We love to go to Delray. We're going to head down to Delray Beach, and then we'll go up to Savannah in the fall. But our next big trip, man, we're going to stay in the States. We're going to go to Napa Valley next year.
Oh, wow.
And spend a couple weeks out there. There's a huge musical festival that happens there every year. And buddy of mine, who I think you know, Chad Muncie, he owns Bearded Pig.
Yeah.
And he told me all about it, and I just fell in love with it. And so we're going to head out there next year. And so we're going to do that. There's plans definitely to head over and do some European things. But, my wife now enjoys her wine. We're going to Napa. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been because I was living in Northern California for a little while, and had a chance to visit. So it's so beautiful,
Yeah, I can't wait, man.
It's although it's kind of a hard state to live in right now.
Yeah.
But
everybody's leaving.
Yeah, I know. I read that article.
Yeah, man.
It's just very expensive.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, just from a musical standpoint, I know you love your Sinatra and you love your jazz,
right.
But what are your favorite, beside Frank Sinatra,
right.
who are your favorite bands or artists?
Man,
right now, or your biggest influences, for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, I am a 70s soul music kind of guy. So, when I look at the 70s and I look at the Philadelphia sound with the Delphonics, Melvin and the Blues, I love that. I wasn't a big fan of Motown in the 70s. I like Motown in the 60s, but I just really got into that. A lot of singular artists like Major Harris, cats like that. And then into the 80s, of course, Peabo Bryson, Luther Vandross. So I've always been a big fan of R&B and soul. Outside of that, I mean, certainly Elvis was a big influence. Growing up, that was huge. My parents had all of his records. And then, man, who would I say? And I don't know, man. I think for me, it's just about voices, tone. There's artists now. This whole TikTok thing allows me to hear so many people I would have never heard before. And there's so many incredible singers out there. There's this French girl. Damn it, I can't think of her name right now. I mean, she's a heavy girl, but my God, it's just her voice transcends. And because of TikTok, she's become a national treasure for France. I think it's Spectra. It sounds. I think it's like a superhero name. Yeah, I think that's it.
So I'll jot it down and I'll try to check it out.
But then, man, listen, I'm an '80s kid, so the Smith. But then I loved the groups. I forget the name of that genre. Where it was Erasure and Boy George and
sure. Boy George, his voice. I saw him over in St. Augustine over there a year or two ago, and his voice has changed.
Right.
And I'll tell you, man, that guy can grunt out some blues, man. If you listen to his new stuff, his newer stuff, the guy's amazing. So while we're talking about this, Tracy's not going to be able to come back on, by the way, because his signal's all messed up. So,
gotcha. No worries.
But I did want to ask you this, and then we'll call it a night because our hour is almost up. But last week we had our Juneteenth show because Wednesday happened to be on Juneteenth.
Right on.
And then we were talking about and it's like every show we always come away with something,
Mhm.
and we knew that there might be some controversial talk and things like that. It's like,
Sure.
well, why do you want to celebrate that holiday? And people
Right.
don't know anything about it, even though it's been around for over 100 years. It
Yeah.
just wasn't an official holiday, right? So there's all of that. But what we really came away with is how we all kind of came together and learned from each other. And it was like how the black community's music changed the landscape of pretty much every genre you just mentioned,
Yeah.
or was the seed for it.
Yep.
It's like if you look at Elvis, even the Elvis movie, they emphasize he used to go to the churches, right?
Right.
And he used to listen to the African American music and the African American and all those dance moves he made and all those dance moves that you made all came from there,
Yep. 100%.
So when we're talking R&B and Motown, well, no matter whether it was actually Motown or it was Philadelphia Motown with Hall & Oates and Todd Rundgren and all that, whatever, it all started there.
Yeah, agreed. I just saw I was in Vegas last week, and my first night there, I went and saw Bruno Mars.
Oh,
and I caught his show, and it's James Brown. That's the best way for me to explain it to him.
Oh, yeah.
It's updated James Brown. You were entertained from the word go. It was absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Oh, dude, and I don't even know how many seats. So it's the Dolby Live inside of I forget which major hotel. The MGM, where all the boxing matches are, whatever resort that is. It's their theater. Every seat sold out. I mean, just insane.
Oh.
But what a show, Jim. The show, crazy.
So when you see a show like that, what do you take home with you? It's like, it's like, maybe I can make a couple of those moves, or maybe I can be that energetic, or maybe I can just be a powerhouse, or not that you aren't, but
thank you. I mean, it reconnected me to what really got people to come to my shows to begin with, and so with this new band, and this happened with the meeting today, this new band I'm going to be formulating, is going to be on that level. It's going to be something where every member of the band is mobile. Every member of the band is dancing. Every member of the band is, so when people come to a local Jacksonville show and it's the Chris Thomas Project, I can tell you one thing. They're going to leave there going, holy shit, when can I see these cats again? Because they're going to be so thoroughly entertained. So that's where we're going with that. Yeah. That's what
great.
I took away.
That's great.
Yeah, man.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I just wanted to show. Where the heck is it? Let's see if I can find this. I guess I don't know where it is. Hang on. Oh well. I was just going to show you a picture, but that's all right. What I'm going to just come away with is number one is, do you have any final thoughts or anything else you'd like to tell us before we cut loose and let you out of your car?
Oh, yeah.
No, man, again, I'm just so thankful that you guys got me on, and I'm very appreciative of that. I think, more of this happening locally is vital.
Awesome.
And we just have such an amazing, I think our music scene could be so much more. And I think with you guys and what you're doing, bringing artists on, I mean, it does nothing but help and helps grow the scene. And people in Jacksonville just need to know that, man, every Friday and Saturday night, they can catch 30, 40 different acts and they're all going to be good. So, that's what I kind of come away with. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Well, I appreciate you being on, and I'm just going to say thank you to our audience for coming on, and congratulations to you for being a victor.
Yeah, brother.
What I came away with, I even wrote it down on my little piece of paper and I was taking notes.
Yeah.
It's easier to be a victim than a victor. It's easier to be a victim than a victor. And that's a really good thing to remember. That's something I need to remember right now, even myself. So,
We're good.
So,
good, man.
So thank you for that. And I appreciate it.
You're welcome, man.
Thanks.
Namaste, my friend.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
thanks for being on, and thanks everybody for coming out.
You bet.
Good night,
Thanks, Jim.
Good night. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Mhm. Well, that's a wrap. Another fantastic episode of the podcast. You can find us on all the social media platforms, wherever you surf, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter X, Threads, wherever. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. And on our YouTube channel, don't forget to like, share, comment, and smash that subscribe button. If you're streaming audio for the podcast, you can find us wherever you get your favorite podcast programs. In the meantime, I like to tell everybody, take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, peace.